I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aziz Faruqi. I'm from the Mechanical Engineering Department.
Hello, my name is Totiran.
Hi, my name is Jayshree and I'm a second year mechanical engineering student.
Hello, my name is Hanifah Mirza. I'm a second year student from Mechanical Engineering Department.
And today I'll be explaining for question number 1, assignment 1, for the subject Structural Programming and Database System.
Today, I'll be presenting a part of question 1, which is designing an algorithm.
I will be presenting on question 2 of our assignment.
And I will be presenting on question 3 for structured programming and database systems assignment.
I hope you guys can stay focused throughout the video.
So let's do it.
In this video, we'll be presenting 3 parts of the question: synthesizing the problem, designing the algorithm, and running and compiling the program. Each of these questions will be presented and elaborated in each of these parts, so make sure to stay tuned to the end for you to understand how to answer a programming question.
For the question number 1, permutation refers to the act of rearranging or permuting some or all the members of a set into some sequence or order. A program is needed to compute the number of possible permutations for a given set. The formula for the calculation involved is as follows: n exclamation mark over open bracket n minus k close bracket exclamation mark. N is the total number of members of the set, k is the number of members to be rearranged, and n exclamation mark denotes the factorial of n, and open bracket n minus k close bracket exclamation mark denotes the factorial of nk. And I'll be applying loop in this code. So for this question, it asks us to do permutation programming in C++. The program shows the number of possible permutations from the given set. So by this given formula, we are able to code a program and show the number of permutations. Our code does not only accept numbers, but also can accept with words.
So question 2 states that a program is required to prepare multiplication tables. This program will then allow the user to enter any of integers repeatedly, and the program will then display the multiplication table for that integer. So the sample output for this program has already been given, and I have used this sample output as a guide for my coding.
So, a program is required to monitor health among policemen from various departments as required by Royal Malaysia Police (RMP). And RMP wants to make sure all policemen are fit and healthy in order to carry out their duties. So the policeman's health is measured based on BMI. The program will ask the user to enter the weight and height of the policeman in a specific department. The program will then calculate the BMI and determine the BMI category. The program will finally produce a report that summarizes the number of policemen of each BMI category. The program also will repeatedly allow the user to enter policeman's data from another department. So, how do we deal with this question? So, firstly, we have to synthesize the problem by identifying what we need to do first. So, firstly, we need to know how to calculate the body mass index, which is BMI. So, we need to know the formula. So, the formula for the BMI is BMI equals to weight divided by height times height. So that is the formula we need to know, and the weight is in kilograms and the height is in meters in this case. So we also need to know the categories of BMI, and there are 4 categories, which are the underweight, normal, overweight and obese.
For question 1, the way that we design the algorithm is by pseudocode. Right. First off, we continue by declaring the variable of long, integer, and string. Next, we ask from the user the set of group, which we name as n. After getting the set of group, we ask from them the number of members to be arranged, which is r. We continue on by calculating how many is it inside the number of value of n that were given by the user. Next, to find the n factorial, we use a loop, which is I is less than or equals to n num. By using this loop, we can calculate the n factorial for n. And then, after we get the n, we let the numerator as the value of n that we have just got after the calculation just now. Next, to calculate the value of n minus k factorial based on the formula, firstly, we minus n, the value that we got just now. We minus n from the user input minus r, the user input also. Getting this, we name it as a sub. This sub, we use it in a loop so that we can find the n minus k factorial. After that, we name the denominator as the value that we got just now during the loop. After we got the numerator and the denominator value, we just divide it off based on the formula to get the permutation, and that is why at the end we display the permutation as per the value that we got just now, and then we ended the program. That is how you do the pseudocode and algorithm for question 1.
The next thing we had to do was to create an algorithm, and I have chosen to do a flowchart. So a flowchart starts, and then we declare the variables num, which is an integer that we'll be getting from the user. Then I'll prompt and get the number. So while the number is not equals to -1, I'll declare the variables mult equals to 1, mult is less than equals to 8, and mult plus equals 1. So this plus equals is an addition assignment operator which adds value of right operand to variable and assigns the result to a variable. After that, I shall declare the variable total, which is equals to num times mult, and then I'll display mult apostrophe x number num equals to total. And because our sample output has this dotted lines, I've included that to display these dotted lines here too, and that's the end. So while it's false here, this thing will just go right to the end.
It's time to break.
I've made a few. I've had my shells and kicks in my bed, but I've come through. I need to go on. We are the champions, my friends. And we
Get back to work, Mr. Squidward.
Let's look into how do we deal with this question in a flowchart form. So here's the flowchart that I've already done. So let's go through it. Firstly, of course, we start. Then we declare the variables such as weight, height, and BMI. And these three variables are the most important variables in this program that we are about to do. And then we prompt the user and we get the weight, and also prompting and getting the height, as these two are very important in calculating the BMI. As you can see, after that, each of these inputs will be helping us to get the specific BMI outcome in the end. So once our BMI is calculated from this formula, we then see three decisions here. So the first is, if BMI is less than 18.5, then it is stored under underweight category. If it's not, we proceed to the next question. If BMI is more than equals to 18.5 or less than equals to 24.9, then it is stored under the category of normal. If it's not meeting these requirements also, it moves on, and if BMI more than equals to 25.0 or BMI is less than equals to 29.9, it is stored under the category of overweight. And if it still doesn't meet any of these requirements, it is then finally under the category of obese. So once we once the BMI value are stored in either one of these categories, it is then asking the user whether to proceed and Y for yes, type Y for yes or N for no. So if the user types capital case Y, the program then brings you right back to this place where it prompts and gets the weight and height. So this actually shows us that many policemen, as in this case, this question, many policemen should be inputting their data. So once they press Y, another policeman can come and input their data, and it's like it's a loop. So it keeps going on, and once we get data, like each policeman from the department has already inputted their data and they wish to press N, then a report summary of the total policemen in each category will be displayed in this report, and after that only the program is ended. And until then, it would not be ended if the user keeps pressing Y.
Now let's see the C++ program that I have made from the pseudocode. Okay, here I have declared the variables here, and loop has been applied here, and while. And here are the words that we are going to be displayed: the group of set, number of members to be rearranged, and the permutation is. So now let's run the program. So example for the group of set I'll be using for words A, B, C, D. Enter. Now I will show the number of members to be rearranged. So I will use 4, number 4. And here it shows the permutation, which is 24. Next, I'll be using for numbers also, which is example 1, 2, 3, 4. Enter. I'll use maybe 3. Now it shows the permutation, which is 24. So the factorial gets calculated, and then using the formula of the permutation, it gets value and gets calculated, printed on the output.
About the code, this breaking the code. So always start the code with include IO string and using namespace standard, and not to forget this sign. So next, I declare my integer, which is num, and I use do. So I see out, enter an integer, where this is where the user has to enter an integer, and the input is the number. So for n mod equals to 1, mod is less than equals to 8, and mod plus equals to 1. This means that the multiplication is only until 8, which is also in the sample output. They only show the multiplication until 8 times. We'll see out mult x, which is the sign here too, then the num is equals to total, which we have already declared here. And then this C out, NO, NL, okay, and C out with the dotted lines, also as what is written in the sample output. So while num is not equals to -1 written. So I'll show you the program by running it. Okay, so the first integer I shall put 8, and enter, and we get exactly what the sample output shows. And since it's a loop, we can put another number, say 7. And we also get, and this will go on until whatever integer you can input. So that's all from question 2.
Okay, now let's look into the C++ programming from this flowchart I've made. Okay, it is here, as you can see. This is the flowchart. This is the program that I have done in C++. So as you can see in the flowchart, we have declared our variables here, the weight, height, BMI. We have had our formula here, BMI. The inputs here, we have prompted the user to input. And here we have the conditions where for each category we have a certain condition, like BMI less than 18.5, we have underweight. BMI more than equals to 18.5 or less than equals to 24.9 is normal. So we have those until obese. And then we have where the program once the user press N for stopping the process of inputting data, that is when they display the whole summary of what each user has inputted earlier in each category. So we know how many have input. So for an example, let's run this program and let's see what we encounter. Okay, first the user is asked to enter the weight. Okay, now let's just put 54 kilograms. Now the height we can put around 1.9 meters. Okay, so as you can see, it is underweight right here. So just for this example, let's do for each category. So right now we proceed, capital Y, press enter. Now we record the next one. So the next one, 75 kilograms. The height, let's say 1.75. And now you can see it is normal, the BMI. So we proceed again, press enter, and now this time let's say it's around 85. We press enter, the height is around 1.75. Okay, as you can see here, it is overweight right here. And for the last time, we can press Y. We can enter the weight such as 95 and probably the height 1.5 meters. As you can see, it shows obese. So we have one in each right now, and we have 4 sets of data, which means it's 4 user input. Let's just say 4 policemen have input their data, and we have now 4. So now pressing N to end the program, we can see, okay, as we can see here, it is a total summary of these 4 user input is all here. As we can see, there is 1 underweight here, there is 1 normal, there is 1 overweight, and there's 1 obese. So total that makes it 4 user input. So that is how this program is done. And in this case, for the policemen to input their BMI for each department, and that is how it is being stored.
That is all from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, and that is all from me today. Thank you.